How much dialogue has Taipei had with Tokyo in the days and weeks following that? Has there been coordination on the response for Taiwan, from Taiwan?
Yes, because the so-called Taiwan contingency becomes a Japan contingency. Therefore, it's also a Japan-United States security contingency. So
you're talking about the survival doctrine, essentially. It's a survival situation,
yes.
Survival threatening situation.
Yes, yes. So we have very good communication channels with the Japanese government. So we are trying to manage the situation to avoid it's become a situation out of control. So because...
So are you saying you're downplaying it? Because
yes.
the response so far from Ching-Te, the president, has
yes.
been fairly muted.
Yes. So we show our support through I think a soft approach, suggesting that our people to travel to Japan, also to eat Japanese food. So we want to help cool down the situation, because once the Chinese nationalist sentiments stimulated, it will very, to some extent, out of control. So I think for Beijing, it also not in its interest to escalate the conflict.
Do you believe, though, with Prime Minister Takaichi-san essentially linking Japan's security to Taiwan's security, does that indicate to you that Japan is willing to shoulder more of the security requirements, either diplomatically or militarily, in the East Asia?
Yes, indeed. I think we have to share the burdens in terms of defense capabilities, and also through diplomatic way to co-manage the situation in the Indo-Pacific. So it's I think the situation shows that we are coordinating with the United States in defending the status quo, trying to avoid the Chinese authoritarian expansionism in this region. So in the Indo-Pacific, we don't have a collective security arrangement such as the NATO. So we have to strengthen our bilateral cooperation, and even to bring all bilateral arrangement into a latest strategic framework.
Right. Well, this downplaying of the situation is in lockstep, I guess, with why Taipei was fairly pleased as well that Donald Trump or the White House did not mention Taiwan in the readout of the recent phone call between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, where Beijing tried to make the case again for the post-World War II order, basically cedes Taiwan to the rightful leader of China, and that being, after 1949, being Beijing. Obviously, with Donald Trump not mentioning Taiwan, it takes it off the front burner, but at the same time, it does not allow Donald Trump a chance to reaffirm America's commitment to Taiwan. Do you question, under the Trump administration, their commitment to the defense and support of Taiwan?
We have no doubt on the Trump administration's commitment to the regional security in the Indo-Pacific, especially the first island chain. So I think it's a different kinds of strategic arrangement.
How is it different?
By asking the U.S. allies or to have this burden sharing in terms of defense budget, or to show our determination and resolve to defend ourselves. So for our side, President Ching-Te already adopted a series of policy to show our commitment for our self-defense strengthening. For example, the increase in defense budget and the extension of mandatory military service.
Yeah.
Also, I think the whole society defense resilience. I think also the strengthening of asymmetrical warfare capability.
Yeah.
So we have to try our best to show our determination and resolve. Yeah, in defense of Taiwan's democracy.
What are you communicating to Tokyo? Do you want them to back down to cool tensions or stand ground?
I think it's in everyone's interest to stabilize the current situation, because once Xi Jinping mobilize its society through nationalist sentiment, it's also not in Xi's interest, because the economic downturn and also the high the rising unemployment rate, and also the trade conflict with the United States. So I think it's not in everyone's interest to have the China-Japan disputes and the issues related to Taiwan to escalate.
So by not provoking Beijing, you feel, this is the way I'm reading it, you feel that this could die down sooner?
Yes, I think so.
How long?
Because I think Japan has already shown its willingness, because it's in the parliament, it's in the QA session.
Yeah.
So there are some backgrounds. Yeah, so it's not just a different policy change from the Japanese side, but for Beijing side, maybe take maybe a year to stabilize the situation. But for saving Xi Jinping's face, he has to do something to show his domination in the disputes.